nation that has been once again proven to be the cradle of human civilization. A Norwegian announcement at journalistic student at England's University of Cambridge succeeded in recreating the facial feature of Shanadar Z, a Neanderthal woman whose remains were discovered inside Kurdistan Shanadar cave. This significant achievement in the world of science gives new insight into what our Asian cousins actually look like. Neanderthal were a species of earlier human that evolved from the same common ancestor as Homo sapien between 700,000 and 300,000 years ago. We lived side by side for a time before the Neanderthal died out around 40,000 years ago. And now, thanks to science from around the world, archaeologists in Kurdistan and everyone involved in this profound research, we have a better understanding of at least those who lived in this land 75,000 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, to express our deep appreciation for the UK Kurdistan Friendship Association that worked for years to preserve and promote the archaeological sites in this region, including the Shanadar cave, where they helped introducing to the international academic community. However, I believe that the most profound appreciation should go to the locals and in all the settlements around the Shanadar. Hadn't been for their peaceful attitude towards the environment and their instilled culture of preserving the nature and their surrounding, we would not have been able to retrieve the remains of the Neanderthal and reach the milestone. As you all know, Shanadar cave is situated in Barzan area of the Kurdistan region. While the name of this region often carries political significance due to its association with the numerous revolutionist leaders and the resistance spirit of its people in the face of oppressors. Barzan area is also noteworthy for its deep respect for the environment. From a young age, the people of Barzan are instilled with a profound respect for nature and all its inhabitants. This culture has played a crucial role in the preservation of the Neanderthal remains found within Shanadar cave. While Shanadar will remain as one of the most important archaeological sites, we must bear in mind that Kurdistan boasts thousands of other locations that connect us to our ancient past, spanning thousands of years. We at the Sōrān Independent Administration proudly announce that our doors are open to the academic community from around the world, inviting them to join hands with us in exploring and understanding our shared history. The Kurdistan regional government is committed to providing every possible facilitation to unearth the trace of our past. Now we know how the Neanderthal looked like. It's time to roll up our sleeves and delve deeper into comprehensive exploration to uncover what still lies under this ground.
One and every guests that are here, and I'd like to welcome all the distinguished guests and attendants that are here today with us, and also I'd like to welcome our distinguished guests today that are going to covering the panel and with their outstanding information and knowledge today with us. Today we are here in a very interesting location and ancient heritage and position that we are now hosting these distinguished guests. They are participated in providing very important and discoveries, and that they are going to share with us today. That is why I think that it is very important for me as a Kurds that are here, we are here that in same disposition. So it is very proud for us, and we honored today that we are in place that were found some of the discoveries that we call them this, that is our home. So I let you to discuss and your information and your experience today with our attendance all that here. So we will start from Professor Barker. And Professor Barker, he's a professional fellow in St. College, and also he's a team leader of this archaeological team, also in the Shanadar cave. He started since 2015 of excavation. So I think that he had been come here and he was invited since before 2015, but I mean 2015 started and they found they want to continue the continue of that rough Saloki that have done many decades ago in this area. So when they come here with his team in order to continue his working on the remaining of the Neanderthals, but they found a new discoveries near to the Neanderthals that many decades ago Ralph Sloky worked hard. So today I don't want to go further into further details, and I will let Professor Grime. Professor Grime, we would like you to share your outstanding knowledge. I mean, I let you in these few minutes. I think each of the guests have 7 to 8 minutes. So in these few minutes, all your experience and you have done through these years. But one of the main questions, just that maybe it make our mind busy, which technique you used in during of this excavation in order to distinguish you from the previous work of the Ralph Sloky, of how you date the sediment. I mean that 45,000 you dated, but now you dated to 70,000 years ago. So that's why it's very interesting for us in which method you used and you applied in your excavation and your study. So please, I will let you to. It is okay. Which if you okay.
So I was asked to. I should say first, Mălămustăfa Barzani, Governor Halgord, ministers, honoured guests, colleagues, friends. It's an enormous pleasure and a privilege to be invited to speak about our work. And I shall cover the methods that you kindly asked, but I wanted to say something more widely about the international importance as well as the Kurdish importance of Shanidar Cave. And then Dr. Emma is going to talk more about Shanidar Z and the reconstruction. So like every student of prehistoric archaeology anywhere in the world, I learned about Shanidar Cave as an undergraduate because of the amazing discoveries there by Ralph Selecki in these 1951 to 1960 excavations. The Neanderthal crippled as a boy who died as an adult, so must have been looked after by his companions. The theory that one of the others had been buried on a carpet of flowers. These ideas, to me as a student, represented a totally new challenge to the orthodox view of Neanderthals ever since they were first discovered at Neanderthal in 1856 as unfeeling, unthinking beings, totally different from Homo sapiens. Shanidar Cave was all the more important because the Neanderthal layers in the lower part of this 14-metre trench that Selecki excavated were followed by layers with evidence for Homo sapiens. The radiocarbon dates that Selecki obtained very early in the development of the method indicated that the last Neanderthals were using the cave about 45,000 to 40,000 years ago. That's around when Neanderthals disappeared all over the world, and Neanderthals were from Spain to Russia. The Shanidar sequence therefore made the cave one of the best places anywhere in the world to study why Neanderthals disappeared after being successful so long and why our own species has thrived. It's one of the great enigmas, one of the great questions of human evolution. So when in 2011 I was invited by the Kurdistan regional government to plan new excavations in the cave, I was hugely excited. I couldn't possibly excavate on the same huge scale that Ralph Selecki did, so the new work had to be very targeted. At the same time, archaeology has been utterly transformed since that time by scientific methods unknown in Selecki's time. So we hope that new excavations would clarify many of the debates and uncertainties about his discoveries. For example, when did Neanderthals first start using the cave? Radiocarbon dating, the only method that he could use, reached back around 50,000 years, which is, in the case of Shanidar, is the top 4 meters. So he couldn't date the other 10 meters below that, including the famous burial that they thought had been buried with flowers, the flower burial. And was it true, as he'd argued, that half of the 10 Neanderthals he'd found had been killed by rocks falling from the roof of the cave, and the others buried with elaborate funerary rites, like the bed of flowers? And what was life like for the Neanderthals and Homo sapiens using the cave? What kind of climates had they lived in? As one theory about why Neanderthals became extinct, because it was that they couldn't cope with the profound climate changes of the time when they disappeared, and when our own species expanded from Africa all over Eurasia, to Siberia and Australia. So our excavations began in 2015, and we've continued, as you said, every year since then, except during the restrictions of COVID. We've basically uncovered the walls of the Selecki Trench down to about 10 meters depth. And we've undertaken a wide range of scientific studies on those walls, especially to build a chronology of occupation that was impossible for Selecki, establish a framework of climatic change, and extract new information about the behavior of the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens who came to Shanidar. As any of you who have visited us will see, the process of excavation is extremely slow, because all the soil we excavate is carried down the hill. And I'm very pleased for the Mayor of Mergosur to be one of the people who's helped carry those bags of soil down from the cave down to our car every day. So we bring the soil down, we take it to our house in Shkafki, and we wash it, where we collect organic remains like charcoal, and then half the team painstakingly sort through what remains to collect everything that is bigger than 2 millimeters. Half the team therefore works in the cave and half in the house. Other samples of material are taken on loan to the UK for analysis, and some of them are sent to laboratories around the world for other analyses. And unexpectedly, we found further Neanderthal remains, including the adult woman, the star of the film, along with Emma, Secrets of the Neanderthals. The team, the BBC Studios team, came for a week in May 22 and a week in May 23. Shanidar Z was part of a unique cluster of 5 individuals at least, including the flower burial, buried in the same part of the cave over several generations, 75,000 years ago. The Shanidar Neanderthals surely didn't have religion in a modern sense, but they certainly thought about and responded to the mystery of death and its aftermath. Our new dating methods, and one of them that you asked for is a method for dating grains of sediment, grains of soil. It's a method that the samples get taken to the University of Oxford. Our new dating methods show that Neanderthals were using the cave from at least 100,000 years ago to 40,000 years ago, when Neanderthals became extinct everywhere. They came to the cave seasonally, probably for a few weeks each year, when the climate was like today. They hunted ibex that we saw this morning, they collected tortoises, they collected seeds and nuts to cook on their campfires, they practiced craft activities, studied, for example, by one of the team here who's finishing his PhD, looking at the stone tools and how they used them. And they also even made, we think, symbolic items of jewellery, like beads. So Shanidar Cave has shown that Neanderthal culture was far more complex than once imagined, making the possible reasons for their disappearance even more a subject of debate, given the genetic evidence that Neanderthals interbred with ourselves.